Have you ever wondered where potatoes come from? And how do they get from where they grow to your store where they're sold? Well, you're about to find out. Welcome to Kirschman Farms in Bakersfield, California, one of the most fertile potato growing regions in the United States. Grower Brian Kirschman's family has been farming potatoes for 100 years, and he spent the last 4 months carefully monitoring these fields to ensure a healthy crop. Hi, Brian.
Welcome, Jared, to Kirschman Farms.
Thank you. When is harvest season? I mean, I know we're out here today, but other states.
Depends on what state you're in. The great thing about California with our mild weather and our temperate, we can harvest potatoes 8 months out of the year.
So in other states, then they might not harvest as often or throughout the year, or how does that work?
So up north, when you get to Idaho, Washington, Maine, you know, the kind of the northern tier, they typically plant in the spring and dig in the fall. And what they'll do is they'll bulk pile the potatoes into cold storages to ship throughout the winter.
Back in December, Brian planted seed potatoes. These seed potatoes grew roots from their eyes and sprouted leaves. Tubers began to grow along those roots and gather carbohydrates and nutrients and water. Finally, the leaves died and the vines died off, and the skin of the potato thickened, preparing it for harvest. Now, sitting 5 to 6 inches underneath Brian's fields are thousands of pounds of potatoes. So tell us about some of the things that you use in order to harvest potatoes.
Here in California, we use a thing called a windrower in front of a harvester. And basically what we're doing, we're taking 4 rows and consolidating it into it so we can pick up more with the harvester.
But there's a lot of options, right?
There are a lot of options. Every farm is a little bit different based on where they are. Our ultimate goal is to separate the dirt because nobody wants to haul the dirt. And plus I need the soil here. This is my good topsoil. I don't want to lose it. So what we'll typically do is these machines, it is all set up through chain and through certain elevations in order to sift the potatoes through that dirt. So I'm sending very little dirt to the packing shed.
You want to protect the potatoes.
Yes.
Right, I mean, that's the main goal, is you don't want them to bruise, you don't want them to split or cut or anything like that.
No, because cut and splits, that's your point of entry for disease, just like you. Potatoes also like cool weather, you know, like humans. So if it's 100 degrees out, you're pretty miserable. They are too. If it's too cold out, they're miserable and you're miserable.
That's why you harvest in May instead of
That's why you
July.
harvest. You love that temperature right around 50 to 60 degrees when it's just flat beautiful out.
Got it.
What you're on here is a harvester, constantly picking up potatoes. So we're going through different transitions of chain in order to sift the dirt out.
Right.
Because our end result is to have nothing but potatoes go to the shed, to the packing house.
From the field, the spuds are transported directly to one of 2 locations, a packing shed or a storage facility. Those potatoes that go directly to packaging and shipping are called fresh dig. This is how most potatoes go to market in places like Virginia, the Carolinas, Florida, and California. The alternative is to send the potatoes to a specialized storage facility. Welcome to Johnston Farms, a packing shed in Edison, California. Brian's carefully grown potatoes have finally made it here to be packaged for retailers under the watchful eye of John CLEROU, a sales agent for Johnston Farms. All right, John, so here we are in the packing shed for Johnston Farms. I see a lot of different containers. I see some plastic boxes, a lot of cardboard boxes, some bags over here. Why so many different containers for the potatoes?
When we bring them in here, we're able to send those potatoes in many different ways to make sure we're getting the right pack for the right customer there.
So your customers are like retailers and wholesalers, and they have different requests for packaging, right?
Correct. Between retailer, food service, wholesaler, and anybody else in between, we're selling the world here right out of this potato shed.
So a truck backs up, dumps the potatoes, and you guys just put them in the packaging and send them off?
Yep, that's after they're graded and sorted and cleaned up. After that, we'll have them packed and shipped, ready to go.
All right, John, so it looks like these guys are sorting potatoes. What's this about?
We bring them in from the field trucks come in, they'll wash them out, we'll clean them, size them, and then from here they go to the grading tables where the graders will come in and clean up any defects in the box, get them ready to pack.
A lot of it's automated, right? But this is the manual part.
Correct, yes. Here in California, a lot of it's still done by hand, and they do a good job as far as cleaning up the potatoes to make sure we get the right pack.
And then from here, these potatoes get packaged, right?
Correct, yeah. Once we have them graded and sized, we're able to put them in any sorts of different packages there that the customer might want there.
All right, John, this looks like the end of the line. So where are we now?
So at this point, the potatoes, they've been graded, sized, cooled off. They're ready to go into consumer bags for the retailer.
All right. So these potatoes may even be coming to your store. Now let's do a quick review. Potatoes are grown all across America and harvested throughout the year. After a 90 to 120 day growing season, the leafy vines begin to die off. This signals the potatoes underground to mature and their skin to harden so they're ready for harvesting and handling. Once harvested, the potatoes go to one of two different destinations: the packing shed, where they're sorted and immediately packaged for retail sale, or the storage facility, where they retain their freshness in a climate-controlled environment for later packaging. The grade US #1 signifies the best of the best. Potatoes that are free from damage, firm and well-shaped, and no less than 1 7/8 inches in diameter. And finally, potatoes can be packed in poly or string mesh bags, as well as cardboard cartons. So now you know how potatoes go from harvest to your store. Next, we'll talk about how to store and handle them once they arrive. But first, how about a quick quiz to see what you learned in your first step toward earning certification? Just click on the link below that says Harvest and Packing Quiz to get started.